Season 4 opens on a cold winter's night. Toby suggests that the best way to pass the storm would be to tell a story, and so Thomas tells them a story about 3 little engines from years ago. They lived on their own railway and were named Duke, Stewart, and Falcon. Duke was the oldest of the 3, and so Stewart and Falcon would constantly make fun of him for being, well, old, even giving him the nickname Granpuff. However, Stewart and Falcon are a bit of young troublemakers, and this doesn't sit kindly with Duke. So Duke tells them the story about this other engine. His name was Smudger, and Smudger would constantly try to throw himself off of the rails. But one day, he did this too many times, and so rather than giving him a proper punishment and a lesson like just about every other engine on this show, they turn him into a fucking generator! Holy shit!
He's still there behind our shed. He'll never move again.
So, I actually did a bit of research, and it turns out this is Smudger's only episode. And since this episode is a flashback, I think it's safe to assume that Smudger is fucking dead.
Never move again.
Afterwards, business as usual on the good old railway, until Duke gets a call from his owner saying that he will no longer be of useful service due to how old he is. And so, they lock him into a fucking shed, never to leave him again. Okay, and what does Duke do? He sleeps! It'll help pass the time. And as the years go by, natural weather just continues to bury and bury the shed to the point where you can barely tell that a ship was even there to begin with. Meanwhile, Duke is still inside. The episode ends with Thomas leaving the story at that, giving the mother of all cliffhangers to the other engines. Thankfully, the next episode picks up immediately afterwards, with Thomas telling the rest of the story to the other engines as they demand the rest of the story. Basically, we cut to the present day where tons of people are talking to Sir Topham Hatt about good old Duke, and so they start a search party. They spend the entire episode searching until somebody, miraculously, is on top of the shed and crumbles down onto Duke, who is still sleeping and covered in cobwebs. They let him out, and he is reunited with his old buddies. So it's a happy ending, even though he's probably traumatized. Or maybe not, because he was just sleeping the whole time. Either way, I do recall these episodes a lot as a kid. I recall the story of Duke being very screwed up. Although I don't remember Smudger at all. I only remember Smudger because Tomska brought him up in his Thompson Friends video from years ago, which is, fun fact, the reason SteamTember exists to begin with. And it is so much more fucked up than I remember. Like, I know everybody says that Thompson Friends is more fucked up than you remember it being, but like, oh my god, the season 4 premiere is genuinely really fucked up. Like, we're introduced to tons of new characters in this first episode, all from the distant past, but are still around. We just haven't met them yet. And like, suddenly one of them's been missing for years, and another one is basically dead because he got turned into a generator. Like, imagine if, say, you worked at McDonald's and you weren't doing your job the best and you weren't doing it correctly, but, you know, who really cares? And, you know, instead of them firing you, they turned you into the fucking grill. What the hell? Like, it is so fucked up because they are living beings, because they are sentient, because they give the trains faces, which is why whenever we see a train corpse, we don't see the frickin' face.